65th Independence Day celebrations of Ghana will be held at Cape Coast, the central regional capital, on March 6, 2022. The National Organizing Committee has disclosed at Cape Coast. Under the theme Working Together, Bouncing Back Together, the National Organizing Committee of the 65th Independence Day anniversary said the event is to rally the nation to bounce back to its former self after the ravages and effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, which has not only claimed lives but has paralyzed many economies around the world. Briefing the media at the launch of the 65th Independence Day commemoration, the Director of Operations at the Presidency, Mr. Lord Comey, who is also the chairman of the National Organizing Committee for the 65th Independence Day celebrations, recalled the inability of the usual celebrations to come off last year due to COVID-19, with a rather concise version held at the Jubilee House. He added that the focus this year was to galvanize citizens and rally the nation back to pre-COVID-19 days, and with assurance that through our renewed efforts, the nation will overcome and develop further in the years ahead.
You would realize that coming from a very devastating period in the history of the world, and especially the history of this country as well, the President has found it necessary that we quickly get back better off as a country than we were even before COVID. And all that he's asking is that Ghanaians should come together, work together, so we can bounce back better as a nation than even we were before. The special guest for this year's celebrations would be the Prime Minister of Barbados, Prime Minister Mia Motley. Like you know, every year there is a president that is invited from another country to be the special guest for the occasions of our national days. And this time, the Prime Minister, the woman, a very solid, Barbados has just been made a republic, and she is our special guest for this occasion.
Central Regional Minister Honorable Justina Marigold Assan, who is the chairman for the event at the local level for her part, expressed the gratitude of the region to President and organizers for the opportunity to host the event and called for a unified effort towards the preparation of the event to ensure its success.
The Independence Day celebration is really there. Yabaka yenwa bom ya yetuma ama ya sanso yetum ye jina brandi. Osan the COVID by no nations are dono okutia Ghana man papa onya Ghana ko afana biasa fande nyina Ghana so yenya yenchefa nti asempower other than 65th Independence Day celebration you there yabaka yenwa bom ya yetuma bom na ye jina brandi mama waka yenyi biara so yetumi aye.
Odefo Amwakwa Boydu, the 8th President of the Central Regional House of Chiefs, taking his turn, expressed appreciation to the President for choosing Central Region again after hosting the National Farmers' Day and promised the full support of the chiefs in the region to make the celebrations a memorable one.
Independence Day celebration, what about from what is in Cape Coast? You need to papa. Na nation bo na nanom yes ye ho baji papa na se na tete was independence ahemfo was mo wure mu no this year we mu da ahemfo ye da papa na ihia se ahemfo pe o be hwe na edini e be hia se obiara de no ho be hwe Abronia, it takes the work of common citizens to make a nation great. In here I have pay over share, not even. The thing is, the Nara does it your shame. But then say, what you keep us not district bearers of it into Umpiara and shame.
Mr. Kwame Mbafo, popularly known as Abronia DC, has been arrested and charged with 2 counts of publication of false news and offensive conduct conducive to breaches of the peace. He has been detained and will be arraigned at the court on Wednesday, February 16, 2022. A statement signed by Deputy Superintendent of Police, Juliana Obin, Head of Public Affairs Unit at the Greater Accra Regional Police Command, said on Tuesday. The arrest follows preliminary investigations which established as untrue Mr. Bafo's allegations that former President John Mahama was planning to stage a coup. The police said his claims were likely to cause a breach of the peace. Following the allegations, the Accra Regional Police Command invited Mr. Bafo to report to the regional headquarters by 4 p.m. on Tuesday to assist investigations or risk being arrested. The police further urged the public to be circumspect in all their dealings, including pronouncements, because anyone who will fall foul of the law will be taken through due process. Abronia DC, who is also the Bono Regional Chairman for the New Patriotic Party, is said to have made the allegation in a radio interview in Accra. He is said to have claimed that former President John Mahama had met with Al-Qaeda militants in an attempt to stage a coup in Ghana. According to him, Mr. Mahama is in ties with the group to help him undertake a coup to become president again. Abronia DC was responding to issues leading to the arrest of one of the conveners for the Fix the Country movement, Oliver Mausi Baka Vomawo, who had also made claims of staging a coup should the controversial e-levy be passed by Parliament.
Dr. Kwame Yeboah-Barnabas, Director of Nursing and Midwifery Services at the Ministry of Health, has said government will soon come out with a policy framework to ensure home health care services are streamlined and regulated to effectively discharge their services with the best of care. Speaking at a ribbon-cutting ceremony to outdoor Delta Home Health Care in Accra on Tuesday, Dr. Kwame Barnabas said such health care services delivery would help to access quality health care in the country.
Home healthcare is a new and an emerging area in the healthcare system in Ghana, and we really don't have any policy direction or policy guidelines on home healthcare as we speak. But it is on the table. We are trying to work on it and come out with a policy guideline because it's a new area. So we need to have a policy on it so that people who are in that industry can be regulated and guided as well. But beyond that, we have the Health Regulatory Agency, HIFRA, that licenses and accredits such facilities to operate. But when it comes to the nitty-gritties in terms of how, for instance, a hospital operates, some of the things that need to be available and all that, we need a policy on that. And the ministry is going to work on that as well. Yeah.
The Chief Executive Officer of Delta Home Health Care, Ms. Vida Kofi, explained the need for such a facility in the country and used the occasion to explain its establishment after spending a year abroad to provide home care services.
The reason of me getting into this home health care in Ghana is that I have been doing this for about 35 years, if not more. I started by being a home health aide myself, and then I grew out, and then I stepped it up, and I ended up opening my own business in USA, Connecticut. I saw how it did help the people there. Almost about 2,000 or more families went through my hands to the business, and we made them feel comfortable, especially the ones that even were passing away. We made sure that they didn't even die alone. We gave them comfort, and we prolonged their lives by taking good care of them, making sure that their medications, everything were intact, and they were getting the good care that they needed. So it did prolong their life. So with the life expectancy here in Ghana being that short, I figured if I bring it down here and also bring my expertise here, will also help my people to prolong their life and have them live a comfortable life before they pass on. And also people who don't take good care of, take their health for granted, just want to constantly, alerting them that, you take care of yourself first, and, if you want to live a better life, that's what you do. So we're here to help.
Delta Home Healthcare is a healthcare service provider that caters for the elderly and homebound patients. It provides its clients and customers with high-quality, comprehensive and compassionate care in the comfort of homes, remaining sensitive to personal circumstances and unique medical needs. From helping to address a serious illness, manage a chronic disease or recuperate from surgery, Delta Home Healthcare skilled professionals help create a supportive and healing environment in patients' home. With over 25 years of expertise in home health care delivery for seniors and having helped over 4,000 families in various communities over the period, Delta Home Health Care says it is committed to the well-being of the elderly, maintaining healthy lifestyles and providing continuous comprehensive care at home while raising awareness on preventive care for adults. President Emmanuel Macron is expected to announce France will withdraw its forces from Mali amid a breakdown in relations with the country's military leaders. Macron is expected to announce the decision this week, according to diplomatic and security sources. Reuters said the decision could be announced as early as Wednesday, following a top-level meeting on the Sahel region of Africa in Paris. AFP said it was likely to be announced to coincide with the European Union African Union summit in Brussels on Thursday and Friday. The pullout from Mali with a redeployment of forces to other countries in the region amounts to a major strategic shift by France, ending a 9-year mission that successive French presidents had argued was crucial for regional and European security. There have been 2 coups in Mali since 2020, and ties have worsened since the military reneged on an agreement to organize elections in February and proposed holding on to power until 2025. The regime has also developed closer ties with Russia, including turning to suspected mercenaries from Russia's private military contractor Wagner, and this month expelled the French ambassador. French government spokesman Gabriel Attal told reporters there will be a meeting between the French president and the heads of state of partner countries to French presence in the Sahel region in the fight against terrorism. He declined to say whether a decision had been made on withdrawing forces, other than to say it will be taken in consultation with European and African partners. A French withdrawal would mean the European Special Forces Takuba Task Force would also leave. A draft document of the plan distributed to countries involved in Mali says that France and NET2 Takuba partners had decided to commence the coordinated withdrawal of their military resources from Malian territory. A French presidency official said the idea would be to reduce troops and cooperate exclusively with countries that wanted help. France has already withdrawn some troops in the Sahel, intending to reduce numbers from about 5,000 to 2,500 to 3,000 by 2023. About half of its forces are based in Mali. The Takuba mission has about 600 to 900 troops, of which 40% are French and includes medical and logistical teams. The draft document does not call on countries involved in the 14,000-strong UN peacekeeping mission, or the EU's European Union training mission and EU CAP missions to withdraw. However, their future is in doubt given French forces provide medical, aerial and reassurance support. European governments fear that shifts in relationships with the region's rulers risk leaving a vacuum for movements tied to Al-Qaeda and ISIS or ISIL. In addition to Mali, Burkina Faso and Guinea-Bissau have seen recent military coups.
It is thus of the utmost necessity that countries like Guyana and Ghana find ways of bringing their substantial hydrocarbon resources to production, and quickly too. We must add value to these resources and not export them in their raw form if we are to transition to the status of developed countries. The effective management of these resources will determine whether we make it or not.
These were the words of the President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, when he delivered a keynote address at the Maiden International Energy Conference and Expo in Georgetown, Guyana on Tuesday. While bringing these fields to production as quickly as possible, President Akufo-Addo urged that Ghana and Guyana must carefully balance the social, economic and environmental benefits of these hydrocarbon resources in a continuously changing world.
No energy project, therefore, no matter how high its return on value, is worth it if the interests of some or majority of the stakeholders are not properly represented and they're left impoverished and dissatisfied.
President Akufo-Addo told the conference, which was attended by the President of Guyana, Irfan Ali, President of Suriname, Shan Santoki, the Prime Minister of Barbados, Maya Motley, and the Chief Executive Officer of ExxonMobil, Darren Woods, among others, that Ghana is today touted as a model case in Africa in the management of oil and gas resources. According to the President, the discovery of oil resources in Ghana in 2007 offered a unique historic opportunity for the country to leverage its newfound oil and gas resources to develop the Ghanaian economy and finance priority domestic investments crucial for diversified growth.
It was an exciting moment, since the discovery of oil resources offered a unique historic opportunity for Ghana to leverage its newfound oil and gas resources for the development of our economy and to finance priority domestic investments crucial for diversified growth. By the grace of God, many more discoveries have since followed, and Ghana's ability to use these resources for the development of the economy and for enhancing the welfare of citizens.
With some resource-endowed nations in Africa failing to achieve sustainable development from the exploitation of their natural resources, President Akufo-Addo noted that Ghana has implemented a number of policies and initiatives to change the narrative.
It is worth noting that some resource-endowed nations in Africa fail to achieve sustainable development from the exploitation of their natural resources. We in Ghana have sought to implement a number of policies and initiatives to change the narrative. These policies are focused on ensuring sustainable growth of the sector through legislative development, employment creation, protection of the environment, revenue and cost management, transparency, diversification of the economy, capacity building, and local content development.
The President told the gathering that a major challenge Ghana has been confronted with is how to develop the oil and gas industry with optimal local content and participation, enhance national development, and create jobs. To this end, President Akufo-Addo noted Ghana resolved that the involvement of Ghanaians in the exploitation of oil and gas could be achieved through mandatory local content in all aspects of petroleum activities, hence the adoption of a local content and local participation policy in 2010.
A major challenge we have been confronted with is how to develop the oil and gas industry with optimal local content and participation, enhance national development, and create jobs. We resolved that the involvement of Ghanaians in the exploitation of oil and gas resources could be achieved through mandatory local content in all aspects of petroleum activities. Hence, our local content and local participation policy was adopted in 2010. We've been relatively successful in creating skilled and internationally competitive domestic suppliers through this law. It is important to note that Ghana's local content law is not about nationalization of the petroleum sector or a protectionist initiative, but a vehicle for partnering investors to develop domestic capacity that will bring mutual benefits to the investors and the citizens of the country who own the resources, and thereby ensure social harmony and cohesion.
An integrated online learning program, IOLP, offering over 3,000 free certificated courses and industry attachment for the youth and professionals, has been launched by the Vice President, Alhaji Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. To be run by the University of Ghana in collaboration with international partners including Allison, Leiden Educational Foundation and Sol Network, the IOLP is designed to make teaching and learning virtually in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic easier, more convenient and more readily available, especially for teachers and students in rural areas. Unveiling the program at the University of Ghana, Vice President Bawumia welcomed the opportunity to provide employable skills and entrepreneurship training and development for the youth.
Of COVID-19, with all its socio-economic disruptions, many countries and educational institutions have turned to online learning. To be expected, these initiatives whereby learners can communicate with their instructors and their peers and access learning materials over the internet or other computing networks, have met with several challenges. Another challenge is the lack of infrastructure to digitize and transmit learning materials, as well as having the appropriate human resources to implement e-learning initiatives. Even as the demands for e-learning is growing, we are faced with both the human resources constraint, the physical hardware, as well as the soft infrastructure. With the speed of implementation of e-learning, public policy makers, school administrators, teachers, and students all appear to have been caught in the fog of e-learning. What are we doing right? What are we not doing right? Are all subjects adaptable to the e-learning environment? Why and why not? What is the peer learning experience? What is the classroom of the future and how effective have we been? The challenges are even more acute in rural areas and rural schools, and for career-end teachers who have to be trained and retrained to be able to function effectively in an e-learning environment. These challenges notwithstanding, e-learning is hailed as an essential force in democratizing education. It holds the key to inclusive education. It is a way of opening education to populations who otherwise would have restricted access to education because of geography, status, or physical handicap. E-learning is an appropriate method to instruct students in remote areas, which involves all types of learning and skills development.
The advancement of information and communication technology has called for online learning as a feasible and economically appropriate means of extending quality higher learning, Dr. Bawumia pointed out, offering several benefits, including saving time and money, better retention of taught material, and consistent and standardized training every time for every learner. The executive director of Leiden Educational Foundation, James Wache, said the program had been designed to assist government to address the huge challenge of unemployment made worse by the pandemic by providing the citizens with employable skills and relevant knowledge. He commended government for its ongoing digitization drive, which will serve as the anchor for the success of the program.